Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Rich Nonprofit. I'm Lisa Avila, and today I'm super excited to be joined by Dori Bell. Hello, Dori.
Hello, Lisa. Good to see you.
So good to see you. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm excited to have you back on because I had such a great time learning from you last time, and I know listeners did as well. You are a wealth of information. Dori is an aromatherapist, flower essence practitioner. She's been doing this for 25 years. So she and I have been around in business doing all the things, and we've got a lot of wisdom to share. So here we go. Let's get into it.
Let's go.
Let's go. So, Dori, last time you were on, you helped me so much because I'm in that perimenopause, menopause, can't sleep, waking up in the middle of the night. And before we, dive in, I just want to thank you because you were so helpful in giving us all tips on how to relax, how to take care of ourselves, what to do when you wake up in the middle of the night. And I have my handkerchief. I take a whiff, my rose geranium. Yeah. And it really has changed my life. And it was one small thing that every time I smell it now, I think, go back to sleep, Lisa. You're okay.
Yes. Beautiful. That is exactly, that is it, Lisa, is these small things we can do that aren't even really that expensive or that time consuming, just these little shifts. And that just, it can shift the trajectory.
It really does. And okay, I mean, I'm type A, I'm kind of anal, and you want this structure, and you think that you need to go spend all this money and you need to go see all these people, and you really don't. It's those small shifts from somebody who knows what they're talking about and it works. And so I want to dig into that because so many of us business women, nonprofit founders, we are running on fumes. We're moms, we're doing all the things. And I know you've seen firsthand what happens to these high-performing women when they ignore their bodies while they're building their businesses.
I have seen that. Yes, I have lived that. I've living in my head and having everything from the neck down, kind of just holding on for dear life. And what happens is, when you're not caring for the vehicle, you're not getting as far or as efficiently. You're not getting there as efficiently. And, especially when you're talking about a leadership role where you're the driver, you're the one who is, like you had mentioned, you're carrying the mission on your back a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You're setting the temperature. You're the thermostat for the whole organization. That is a lot of weight to carry. And when you are not resourced physically, mentally, and emotionally, and even spiritually for that level of weight, it becomes, you have so little bandwidth and margin for error, and everything is just harder.
Everything is harder. Yes, I have felt that where you're just already up here, and so every little thing that happens, just you feel it in your neck, you feel it in your back.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. This, the whole idea of by the time we feel something, by the time there is a physical dis-ease inside of us, there is a huge school of thought, which I am a part of, that it's already been a spiritual issue. It's already been an emotional one. It's already been a mental one. And now it's in the body. So if we can get that first domino in more of the spiritual, esoteric area, or even the emotional realms, we can set ourselves up for a lot more strength and just success, with everything we're trying to do.
Yeah. Ooh, I love that idea. But so then when we're so busy and we're running and I'm checking off my to-do list and my Monday tasks, how do you get there? How do you recognize it? The spiritual, esoteric, the emotional.
I think that would be something that you would need to really you'd have to sit down and really sit with yourself about that. But even I think if you are in a state of complete overwhelm and anxiety, which a lot of people who come to me are, they come to me so burnt out and so reactive that it's even difficult to help themselves with just using smelling something. Because like one more thing, don't give me one more thing. But if you can even just use your breath to take a deep breath once a day and just take that deep breath, just give yourself a little bit of a pause, and then it ripples out from there. I mean, it really does. You start small with something that you have complete autonomy over, your breath. You can breathe whenever you feel like it. You can breathe at a stoplight. You can breathe in an elevator. You can breathe in the bathroom. You can just take a deep breath. And, essential oils pair very nicely with when you are trying to shift things from the breath. You can have like a hanky like we have now. This hanky has black spruce on it. So I'm forest bathing basically right now.
Oh.
And every time I take a breath, I can feel my lungs expand. I can feel my chest open up, and I can feel my whole nervous system go, oh.
Black spruce.
Yes, black spruce. And black spruce is a wonderful one if you're in any kind of adrenal fatigue or like cortisol, like we all are. Cortisol. Too much cortisol.
Raise your hands, ladies.
Woo! Yeah, so things like that. I think that having that deep breath, and that's where you kind of start to get that, because you need some kind of a pause to figure out these big questions.
Yeah. Yes.
You can't figure out a big question like what's the root cause of my dis-ease from a place of complete crazy overwhelm where you can't even from a reactive state. So just even taking a moment while you're washing your hands to take a breath. Every time you wash your hands, you take a deep breath.
Great idea.
It just kind of ripples. It does ripple out, and then you start having a little bit of margin. You're like, okay, all right, maybe I can also include a pretty vintage hanky with a drop of black spruce. And maybe also I could include this practice. Maybe also I can get a little walk in. Maybe also I can dig my toes into the ground, like.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And those don't take that long, and it's just making them become a habit. And then you crave it.
You get addicted to it for sure, because your body wants it.
Yes.
Your body needs it and wants it. And our mind, we can get so stuck in our heads as in leadership roles when we have so many balls in the air, so many, flaming chainsaws that we're juggling, that, it's like your body is in fight or flight for sure. Mm-hmm. Like you are in a very unrestful state.
Yeah. And what I've seen from clients who really are moving and growing their businesses, and I'm guilty of it also, if we don't take that time to stop, we're going to be less productive. We're going to be exhausted. We're not going to make as much money because, right? We're just, and you're not at your best level and your best self.
And you think about especially that a big part of that is, how do we access our most creative, innovative self? Because that's really what's going to move the needle, is innovation, creativity, like all the things that are unique to us that are going to leave that unique legacy, for us. And we need it. We need it from a rested, calm nervous system and with some space to breathe. And that's where we do our best, most creative thinking and work. And that's where we can show up as the people we're designed to be without all this
junk
stuff. Yeah, the junk that we carry around that we don't have rest long enough to get rid of. Yeah. And it sounds too simple. It sounds like you can just dismiss it as too simple. The idea of taking a deep breath and if you can get to the point where you can add in an essential oil, especially like a pine, spruce, fir, any of these, you think about tree energy, right? Tree energy. You're on the Pacific side. So that beautiful, that those deep roots, those tall, strong trunks, the way when you're trees are the lungs of the planet.
Yes.
It's just expansive, confident, strong, sovereign.
Yes. Oh my gosh. My business is Poppy Grove, and the grove part of it is because redwood groves, how
Oh,
they grow in community, right? With
mhm.
those deep roots and they take
Yep.
care of each other. And there is
Yeah.
nothing better than being in a redwood forest for me.
Mhm.
And right, and that clean air and that
Mhm.
feeling of just like cleaning out your lungs and
Oh, just
being
even
in
thinking about it.
communion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So
and
that, love it.
you can bring that right into your office every day. You can bring it into
Mhm.
your commute. You can bring it into your planning sessions. Bring it
Yeah.
into the boardroom with a little hanky tied jauntily around your neck with a little drop of black spruce on it, and you are going to be
Ooh.
unstoppable.
You know what? That is a great idea because I was looking at these skinny little scarves last night when I
Mhm.
couldn't sleep before I did my little hanky. But yeah, I was like, oh, just put a little bit on there. You're looking stylish. You're ready to
Mhm.
go be, the boss in the boardroom, but also you've got this calming, like, okay, I've got this.
Yeah, you got your tree energy
Yeah.
walking around with you.
Ooh,
Yeah.
there you
Oh,
go. See?
yep.
Learning new things. I love this. So when for nonprofit leaders especially and for mission driven leaders, all of us we hard on my sleeve, guilty, which I love
Mhm.
that about myself, but
Mhm.
we pick up a lot of other people's energy. We want to save everyone. Sometimes in nonprofits, you're dealing with people who are carrying a lot of trauma, depression, PTSD. We're trying to help them. And so I'm curious to know how flower essence could support somebody who is highly sensitive, such
Mhm.
as a nonprofit founder, business owner, and someone who is absorbing the pain of others.
Mm.
What can they do about that?
Okay. Yeah. So I am
Big
so glad.
question.
No, I mean, I am so glad you brought up flower essences with this because we have essential oils, which are extracts from the plant materials. They're a physical thing, and you use those to create physical impact on the body systems. When we're dealing with flower essences, we're dealing with a more esoteric version of the plant. They carry the emotional resonance of the plant. So if you think about everything, everything on the planet has some kind of electromagnetic energy or
Mm-hmm.
vibration,
Yep.
plants included, um, and they have a vibrational resonance with our emotional states. So this is very similar. They work in a very similar way to music. When you're listening to music, like you're listening to a beautiful piece of music that just moves you. It moves your spirit. You have just a big emotion around it. It's doing it through the impact of sound waves that go into your body and then create through a cascade of reactions physical change. But they're not doing it through a physical substance. They're doing it through sound waves, right?
Yeah.
So
Mm-hmm.
flower essences are taken internally most of the time, though I do like adding them to aromatic sprays with essential oils to really kind of, amp up the emotional and spiritual power of an essential oil blend. Um, they, you take them internally and they impact, it's like the soul imprint of the plant impacts emotional well-being, soul development, mind body connections. So when I'm thinking about your leaders of nonprofits, especially the ones who are in situations where they are so compassionate for the people they're there to serve,
Mm-hmm.
it can be very difficult to have a boundary, difficult to know where to put that boundary, difficult to know how to be effective while kind of like I don't even need to explain it. You know exactly what I'm talking about, like that kind of state of needing to be in a like kind of a left brain, but then the right brain is like you need to have it in balance, right? And this is flower essences would be so good for this because they just because of the way we could work with either individuals. So this is the deal with flower essences too. We can work with the team as an entity, or we can
Oh,
work with the leader. When a client comes to me for their child who might need emotional support with flower essences, I work with the parent first
oh,
because the children are so influenced by the emotional state of the parent. The
oh
same
yeah.
thing with your team, right? Um, if you're coming to me with a team that needs to be functioning in a different way than it is to be effective, I would actually work with the leader first, or I would give the team whatever the leader needs.
Ah.
And so, because the whole concept of flower essences and the way they work is that's all about that core belief that if you're experiencing like hot girl tummy or chronic sinus headaches or debilitating fatigue, it's already been an imbalance in your system spiritually and emotionally that needs to be addressed. And once you address that imbalance, those imbalances create inflammation. Inflammation leads to pretty much most diseases are inflammation based. So we're talking about spiritual, emotional, mental, and physical. It trickling down. So flower essences are a way to create subtle, powerful change, gently and slowly over time in a way that is like, it is profound. The change can come from these, especially if you feel like you're not fulfilling your purpose in an effective way. Flower essences, and they get so specific, which is what I love about them. You can get like general flower essences, like Rescue Remedy, it's called.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
most like Whole Foods, the Bach Rescue Remedy. That is wonderful for any kind of situation where you're stressed out or anxious, or like it really just keep it around. Just keep it around. You drop it in your water. Everyone chills out. It's fantastic stuff. But I wanted to give you an example. I'm talking a lot, I realize.
No, I love this. Keep going.
I want to give you an example because we were talking about that tree energy before, which I think as a nonprofit leader, that tree energy, like deep roots with fingers touching the sky and that strength and like, but this is how we could work with flower essences around something like confidence. Right. Mm-hmm. So you could take Buttercup, which is about knowing your self-worth, especially with regard to vocation and lifestyle.
Ooh.
You can take Serato, which is about relying on one's inner knowing rather than another's advice. We could take Elm, knowing one is capable of fulfilling one's obligations without anxiety.
Okay.
And you can take Larch, confidence in self-expression or public performance, especially with the tendency to doubt abilities. So what flower essences would do, or a combination of flower essences would do, is help you harmonize those emotional states so that you are going from a negative expression of it to a positive expression of it. So going from self-doubt into self-worth. Imagine going into a boardroom where you've been taking your flower essences and you're going in there knowing you know exactly what's going on deep inside of you, you've got what they need.
Yes.
That you're capable, that you are confident in your self-expression, that you know you're going to express yourself well and fully, and you know your worth.
Okay, I love this so much because when I first start working with clients who are starting their nonprofit, there's a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of, I don't know what I'm doing. I know, that's why I'm here. But then they have to create their board. They have to go to their board. They have to ask for money. They have to do all these things. And it's difficult to have that visibility at first. And so this would be such a great thing, the flower essences, that they could take with them on their journey. Yes. Toward that confidence, that visibility, that fundraising, all of the parts that you don't think about when you know you just want to save the world and you want to help people.
Yeah. They can, and they would work, and it's a subtle but powerful. So it's not like, so you take some in your mouth and suddenly you're like Wonder Woman. But what it does is it gives you more and more margin to dig in, to shift everything.
Yeah, but you don't have side effects. It's not like you're out there microdosing before you go into a board meeting or, know.
I'm glad you mentioned that. Yeah, if you are taking like Buttercup, but you already are super confident, it'll just metabolize out of your body, and it's just because it's energetic. So if you don't need it, it just doesn't vibe and doesn't do anything.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. And so for, let's say, for holding those boundaries when you are trying to help people, but you're not taking care of yourself, would there be flower essences, I assume, would help with that as
There are
well?
combinations of flower essences that work very well for boundary setting. And you can get very specific. What I love about this is I would work with a specific individual on their unique version of that.
Yeah.
Because everybody, this does not have to be one size fits all. Like you might have a completely different reason why that boundary is weak
Yep.
than the other person. So we want to address you holistically as a whole person. And then we'll look at that with flower essences. I would add in, if you were up for it, I would add in essential oils to support that. They would work really well together. Again, because we're just trying to get you to breathe, trying to get you to ground, get that tree energy coming in. You'll notice that 2 of those flower essences I just pulled were trees, elm and larch, for the flower essence about confidence. I mean, like, it's just, these plants have such a story to tell. And it's so helpful for us in all their different forms. So
this is so great. And so we are both business women. We are both mothers. We know depletion very well.
mm-hmm.
Yes. And so I'm curious to know how someone's physical and emotional state, right, can impact their ability to create lasting change, and how flower essences can help with that as well, because it's the confidence you said, and helping you with visibility and going into the boardrooms. Can they also help the physical depletion feeling that we have as women and moms?
I have had that experience myself, if using both essential oils and flower essences to address deep exhaustion and depletion. That empty shopping bag blowing in the wind kind of feeling, And yes. And what we do is we kind of, when I work with a client or even with myself, I try to get back as far as I can with what is the root cause of that depletion. Am I overextended? We ask some hard questions, like, we try to do all the things, right? There's so much that we can do that we just are too overwhelmed sometimes to even sit down and think about. But yes, I mean, you can address depletion and exhaustion with addressing sleep. I mean, that is it's honestly, with my practice, it's either anxiety or it's sleep, or it's anxiety and sleep.
Yeah. Anxiety leading to not sleeping. Yes.
Yeah. So when you look at the basics, like, what does your body actually need that it's not getting? Because the body wants to be healthy. The body tries so hard every single day to keep us as healthy as possible against some pretty high, some of the things we do, we're trying really hard to make it as hard as possible in our poor bodies, but they're trying every day, and sometimes they just need a little support. So we look at things like that. Like, we look at ways we can support ourselves, but there are absolutely essential oils. And I would go for depletion. I would go to any essential oil. Again, this is like my tree podcast, I guess. Go to the tree essential oils again. Go to the forest, because think about that tree. Trees are not. They're just the opposite of depletion when they're at their, when they're growing in the way they're supposed to grow, not through concrete or something like the redwoods,
Right. Yes.
And with flower essences too, there's a lot we would look at what came first before the depletion. What's caused, because we don't want to just try to put a Band-Aid on the depletion. We want to figure out, how can we get you not exhausted? Like, what's some ways to help you thrive?
Yeah. So that you want to show up. I mean, we do show up. We continue to show up even when we're exhausted, but it is so much nicer for our staff, nicer to ourselves, our family, when we don't have that exhaustion, and we want to show up 100%.
Yeah. I mean, I can see such a difference even in myself. I went through recently a situation where I was not sleeping well because of a medication I had to take. And I turned into the weirdest, crankiest version of myself on no sleep that I think I've ever been. So that's the kind of situation where, like, I couldn't think straight. I couldn't create anything. I couldn't like I was not who I needed to be at all.
Yeah.
Because of lack of sleep. I was exhausted. And so if you're sitting in a state where you are just grasping onto like just trying so hard to keep it all together, there's no room for all the things that you're here to like, you're not in full bloom at all.
Yeah.
You're just, we need you. We need you healthy and strong and vibrant and blossoming and creative. And those things all come from a place of rest and pause.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's such a great point. Yep. Especially for women, we need more women out there creating the impact, creating the legacy, circulating wealth, all the things. And we can't do that when we're depleted, exhausted, and not taking care of ourselves.
Right. And it's easy to say. It's easy to sit here and talk to you about that. But, when you have to make these tough decisions, like, do I work one more hour and get this one more thing done? Or do I go to bed? That's a decision that, you have to make that. You're the business owner. I will say that I read recently that 1 hour of missed sleep is 2 hours of missed productivity the next day.
I believe that. Well, I know that. I've lived that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So if you're in a situation, I mean, let's be honest, sometimes you do have to stay up that extra hour to get that report to that person. Sometimes you got to do that. And when that's the situation, let's get you some tools so that when you do sleep, you sleep really well. You sleep restfully. Let's give you some tools for sleep, for anxiety, so that you do, when you are in a situation where you had to make the tough choice and it's not in favor of rest, let's get you the rest as deeply as we can, what little you get.
Yes, so that you can get cozy in your bed and smell your hanky and just be like, oh, yes.
Yeah.
I get excited for that. It's like, here it comes. Because then you wake up so refreshed and ready to take on the day, ready to help your people. And you just feel better. And with Thanksgiving this week, there's a lot going on. You've got family. Maybe you're cooking. I'm going to be cooking. You've got a lot of people in your house. You've got a lot going on, a lot of expectations. And so what would you suggest for that, of like, how do you remain calm when you're still going to go do all those things because you want to?
Yeah. I mean, right. I mean, it's, this is what I'm going to be doing.
Okay.
I am going to have one of my vintage hankies on me at all times with a relaxing blend that I have made of marjoram, neroli, and lavender. Very relaxing to the nervous system. It smells so good, even in and of itself. That is a psychological boost right there. I'm going to have it next to me. So my nervous system is constantly being nourished.
Oh.
Then I'm going to be taking flower essences. I'm going to be taking, I imagine I'll be taking a lot of elm, which is all about that overwhelmed feeling of you've got a lot to do, fulfilling a lot of obligations, but you want to do it from a place of presence and joy.
Yes.
Not from a place of obligation and anxiety. So I'll probably be heavy on the elm in all of my water drinks, under my tongue. So these are supports that I have that like you say, you want to do all that stuff. You love it. But now I'm resourced better to go through it present.
Yes. I love that. I'm going heavy on the elm. Some people will be like, I'm going heavy on the rosé. Nope. Yeah. I'm going heavy on the elm.
There might be some rosé too.
We can do both, right? Hydrate.
There's water.
Oh my gosh. I love this. And so where can people find these oils, the flower essences? How do you know what's good, what's crap, how do you know?
That's a whole, I mean, that is such a confusing thing for people. Because essential oils, there's a lot of, if you're finding your essential oils at Walmart for $5, they're probably adulterated. You can certainly, if you work with me, you'll be getting really, really, really good stuff that has, I take very good care in picking my distributors. who are taking care of the planet, taking care of the farmers, the harvesters, the distillers. Everyone's getting paid a fair wage. A lot of them are women-owned businesses that I work with. Take a lot of care with that. Sustainability, ethics, very big deal to me. But yeah, how do you know that as a average person just out there trying to do your best? You can always call me. I'm absolutely happy. Like I have my phone number right on my website. Like, give me a call. I really want to help you with this. But I would say, there's companies out there I'm happy to share with your listeners. For flower essences, Bach flower essences are available in most Whole Foods or Sprouts. You can get them on Amazon. Bach is a very good known company. And then Flower Essence Services. I get a lot of my flower essences from them. But if you want a specific, unique creation made just for you, see a practitioner like myself.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Yeah. I mean, you are the expert. You've been doing this a long time, know, and intuitively, I imagine from what I've seen from working with you, what each person needs. And for me, I love the sustainability, woman-owned business, the ethics that you have, that you wrap around into your business. And so when I came to you for sleep, you were just so on it of what I needed. And maybe the essential oil was a little more money, but so worth it and lasts a really long time. Yeah. And it's just so worth it.
Yeah. You're getting good quality. Yes, it is. It really does. The plant, it matters how the plant is treated. I believe.
Oh, yeah.
True. And it matters if somebody's been ripped off, the farmer isn't paid properly. That matters. I think it ends up in the end product.
Yeah. I 100% agree with that. Yes. I feel that from being in the wine industry. All of that. The energy goes into all of it. And so I love that. So then how can people work with you? What have you got going on for the holidays? Tell me all the things, Dori.
Oh my goodness. I'd love to. So my website is The Blossom Bar. You have to have the in there, The Blossom Bar. You can follow me on Instagram at The Blossom Bar or on Facebook at The Blossom Bar. But what I've got going on right now, which I'm really excited about, is an email series. It drops into your inbox every Monday morning. And it's the Pause and Savor Scavenger Hunt. So it's giving you 6 prompts every day for the 6 senses, the 5 senses plus a more of a kind of journaling spiritual prompt about just to kind of help you tap in, dig some roots down in a micro moment in a day as you're washing the dishes. Like it gives you a prompt for just checking in with yourself for like a second. And then how that can shift the trajectory of the whole day. So I give those every Monday morning. That's through the end of the year. If you want in on that, definitely sign up for my mailing list, which you can do on my website. I am also, since this is Thanksgiving weekend, I have an Advent calendar. It's all about stress management. It's called the 12 Days of Holiday Calm Advent Calendar. It's 12 different gifts for stress management. I am rebranding it next year as a different kit. So this is your chance to get this exquisitely beautiful gift for only $55 this week only. It goes back up to $65 next week.
Nice.
And that's down from $99 last year. I need to move this inventory because I'm rebranding everything. You know how it is when you rebrand.
I do.
Yes, you guys can capitalize on my rebranding needs. And grab up those advent calendars. I think at this point I have like 15 left. So get in there.
Yeah.
And
how fun and different.
And I would absolutely love to help a leader or a leader's team with their goals, for helping them achieve what they want to achieve through flower essences and or essential oils. Some kind of combination. That would be such a powerful. It'd be a power move for sure.
It is a power move, but it's such a kind of and correct me if I'm wrong, but a female approach to kind of the corporate speak of, we're going to get in this boardroom and we're going to knock out these goals and we're going to team build. And you're like, okay, whatever. Can I just go back and like do what I need to do? Yeah. Whereas you're approaching it holistically of what do the team members need? What does the leader need? How can we work together in a unique way where it's not like
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it definitely harnesses more of the divine feminine idea of everyone contributing, more of a
Yeah.
spiraling energy as opposed to a direct energy like creativity. Yeah, more
Yeah.
introspection, things like that. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's beautiful. And I love to bring that in. I love strategy and I'm all about it, but also bringing in that divine feminine energy because we are here to serve. We have these big purposes and mission. And so we need the support of other women. We need this community. And like you said, like the ripple effect, the spiral, it creates more impact.
I think we need to show the world that how powerful it is because it's been
Yeah.
so dominated with this one way of doing business for however many, hundreds of years now.
Yeah.
There's another way to do it.
I
And
agree.
show them how powerful that other way is.
Yep. And it's happening. We're doing it. I feel that so strongly. I'm already seeing women doing that. And I just know that this wave is going to continue and we are just going to really kick some butt. But we're
Yeah,
going to do it calmly and
right.
with presence.
With our tree energy. We're going to bring our tree energy in. Yeah.
Yes, I love that so much. Thank you, Dori. You are just a wealth of information. I always learn something new when I talk with you. And so everyone go check out Dori's website and the Advent. Like, come on, that sounds amazing. That would be great holiday gifts. And yeah, thank you
So,
for joining me today.
thank you so much, Lisa. What you're doing is, I have to say, I mean, you could start supporting like base jumpers or accountants, and I would still like read all your emails. There's they're just so interesting. There's always something. There's always something interesting
Thank you.
and helpful in what you're
That's
sharing with
really,
people.
I appreciate that because as you know, when you are putting your work, your heart, your soul out into the world, you don't know. You don't know if it's going to hit. You don't know if it's going to resonate. And so it's always nice to hear, that it helps somebody like you help me. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you.
very helpful. You're doing
Yeah.
great.
Yay. All right, everyone. Have great holiday season if you celebrate. And we will see you next time on The Rich Nonprofit. Bye-bye.